New York City, one of the world's largest trendsetters, and New Yorkers have often been at the center of the world's biggest movements.
In the 70s, disco was the rage. The 80s, well, that made Back to the Future and the Breakfast Club cultural favorites. Don't forget the 90s, that brought us hip-hop fashion.
And in this episode of That Was the News Then, we travel back in time to take a look at the trends that hit New York in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and how the news covered them. So is my hair still big? Because I remember...
Not as big as it was then.
I know. I remember the 70s when disco ruled. Hair was big, outfits were shiny. And believe it or not, cowboy boots were a thing.
In the city? Cowboy boots in New York City?
You know what? I don't remember the Cowboys, but when, you know, you macho man, remember?
Oh, okay, yes,
yeah,
yes.
So that could have been a thing, but really, big hair, shiny outfits, those were the days.
Fashion trends come and go pretty fast, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with what's in and what's out. Well, cowboy boots are definitely in this year, and as Marvin Scott knows, you certainly do not have to be a cowboy to wear them.
These boots are made for walking on the western plains or city streets, and they're being worn by everyone, from laborers to business executives to the chicest of women. The rage began just a few years ago as jeans gained wide acceptance. But it wasn't until last year that footwear manufacturers began working overtime, as major designers like Ralph Lauren began introducing the Western look for both men and women.
Western is very American, and both men and women have always identified with the John Waynes and the Gary Coopers and Roy Rogers and Gene Autry's for all the years. The French can't claim it's theirs. It's the only thing that we can say, hey, this is ours, and they'll say yes. There's definitely a natural, rugged attitude, and I think boots really give you that feeling. When you walk in boots, you stride in a different way.
Without his boot business, Ralph Lauren's Western wear will gross over $20 million this year, some indication as to where the fashion trend is going. Bloomingdale's is one of the better stores, selling a wide range of cowboy boots. Boots ranging from plain calves and leathers to lizards. How are they selling?
Phenomenally. It's hard to keep the boots in stock. We're selling them at the rate of 1,000 pairs a week. Customers begging for them.
Just in this one department?
Just in this one department.
To Boot is a specialty store on 72nd Street that deals exclusively in cowboy boots. There are over 500 pair in stock in 50 different styles. The store was opened last February by two men from Dallas who feel the Texas drawl is an asset here in little old New York.
Well, it doesn't hurt any, because people are coming in here and they want to make sure they get their money's worth, and when you're plunking down $160 for a pair of boots, they sure better fit right, and that's what we go for.
I'll tell you, I feel like walking tall. A lot of people are convinced that cowboy boots are here to stay, right here in the East. As a matter of fact, the owners of this establishment have got $250,000 riding on them, even though Women's Wear Daily just 2 months ago suggested that they're passé because they've become so popular. But then again, there were a good number of fashion experts a few years ago who suggested that jeans were on the way out. And partner, we all know what's happened to jeans. From To Boot on West 72nd Street, this is Marvin Scott, Channel 5 News.
Well, disco was undeniably one of the most iconic trends of the 70s, and of course, New York was right at the center of the craze. Why don't we take a look back at one of the hottest clubs in town in the 1970s?
Okay, so I remember Studio 54. I remember reading about it. I was not allowed to go to it because I was still too young. But once I was able to get in the door, that was the end of Studio 54.
You're the reason it shut down, huh?
Maybe not me, but let's take a look.
You know, when it comes to the glitter and glamour of nightlife, New York certainly shines. Indeed, it is the big town. Over the past number of years, there's been a succession of hot spots, the special places people go to see and to be seen. Right now, the premier playpen for the so-called beautiful people seems to be Studio 54. Just 2 years old last week, the club seems to have that curious chemistry that clicks. It's chic right now, but will it last? Or will it fade like so many of the other clubs?
In the 30s and 40s, it was the Stork Club on 53rd Street. Back then, the most glamorous, most successful, most famous, most everything. It was a social gold mine, the product of the entrepreneurial mind of the lad from Oklahoma, Sherman Billingsley. He was always there, guiding the movements of his 200 employees and making decisions as to who would get in and who would not. In a multi-page spread about the club back in 1941, Life magazine told of the 1,000 or so people who would show up outside the club each night hoping to get in. The Life article opined that perhaps part of the secret of the Stork Club's success is wrapped up in those who are turned away. We don't know if Studio 54 co-owner Steve Rubell ever read that old Life article, written 2 years before he was born, but the formula is the same and it still works, because thousands are turned away from the front door of 54, enraging to some, engaging to others. Like Billingsley, Rubell spends most of his waking hours at his disco, much of the time scanning the sea of faces on the sidewalk, hand-picking the people who will make the party inside, in Rubell's words, a special mix that will allow fun for all and boredom for none. Rubell's dream castle has suffered several assaults. Unable to get a liquor license for months, Rubell and his partner Ian Schrager were arrested for selling booze without a license. But when the studio gets in trouble with established authority, its covey of chic jet-setters gathers in support. When the studio was raided by Internal Revenue Service agents last December, Bianca Jagger jetted in from London to walk into 54 on the arm of fashion designer Halston. Never mind the fact that Ian Schrager was busted for alleged possession of cocaine, and that federal agents said the reason they seized the disco's financial records was that they suspect that mob money was used to put the club in business. 4,000 people passed in and out of 54 last Thursday night for 54's second birthday party. Celebrities as disparate as recording industry mogul Clive Davis and pop-funk figure Tiny Tim.
The Emporium here, I think, is a great addition, really, as far as New York is concerned, and as far as to the just the social environment of New York.
Think it'll last?
I think it's lasting, and I think it will last. Yeah, I think it's quite unique, really.
It's definitely the thing, just like Charleston was in the 20s, Boogie Woogie in the 40s, the early rock years. Disco is the thing today, and Studio 54 is the national anthem, the national disco scene all over the country.
Where does one find Steve Rubell when he's not at his disco? This afternoon, he was brunching at Andy Warhol's factory, where Warhol turns out dozens of silk-screened portraits, which, if done on commission, command $25,000 each. More pop capitalism. There, Rubell was breaking bread with folks like Jerry Hall, Rolling Stone Mick Jagger's current love, and others who make Studio 54 their regular hangout.
Steve's the one that makes it really exciting.
How? What is it about Rubell that does it?
Well, it's, well, he's so good to the people, you know, that go there. They can have a good time without being, you know, just being there and not being bothered by anybody.
Do you think it'll last? You know, 54 is the hot spot now, but New York has a way of having hot spots that go cold.
Oh yeah, it will last because Steve goes to jail for people he believes in.
Like so many other men who become moguls, Steve Rubell has also shown a philanthropic stripe. Although raised in Flatbush, he used to play at the Central Park model boat pond on weekends. A few months ago, Rubell bought his nephew a boat, took him to the pond to sail it. Rubell found out that the city could not come up with the money to fix the pond's crumbling perimeter wall. So on May 7th, there will be a benefit at 54. On that night, anyone willing to pay $20 will be guaranteed admission to the disco. The take at the door and at the bar will go into a fund to fix the pond. Some would scoff that Rubell's just trying to polish up a tarnished image. He says no.
Well, the liquor license was no problem. We ended up winning it in court. Tax is a problem, I think, that practically everybody has. Only it gets blown up because it's Studio 54 and we live in a glass house. The other things, we really don't do anything wrong. You know, we just really, you know, I mean, it's just a place to come have a good time. People accuse us of drugs. Drugs, I just was walking through the park. There are problems in the park. There are problems in people's apartment. I think our problem is very small. If they were large, you can be assured that somebody would do something about it, you know. But you stand on 3rd Avenue and walking up and down and waiting, people are smoking grass, getting on the movie line, the street. It's sort of a problem of society. So I really don't think we do anything real wrong. I think we just try and give people a good time.
Okay, we are fast forwarding now to the 80s. Look at the fashion trends then.
You sure you want to do this?
Yes, yeah. The inspiration came from the streets. Remember that? That was fun.
Yeah, the streets was the good part.
What about the sea?
Yeah, that's the flip side of the good part. We take a look back.
Autumn is right around the corner. Pretty soon we'll be able to stop complaining about the heat and start complaining about the cold. We will, of course, be wearing different clothing when we do that. John David Klein reports on what it may look like.
It is our billion-dollar business. Every year, literally hundreds of thousands of people flock to our city to see what is in fashion.
No, let's move from 7th Avenue. Let's go to where some fashion originates. We have to go more than blocks and miles. We have to go lifestyles. We're on the Lower East Side.
Here, there are no runways. Here, there are no style coordinators. But periodically, you will find fashion news photographers snapping away on avenues A to C looking for the newest trend. Since the 1960s, the streets have provided the inspiration and example. One of the things that came from the streets, the used clothing fad. It's been a big item for a long time, but its popularity is waning for a good reason, for there's not much good stuff left.
It used to be, in this business, you wanted to be cheap and people came to you because it was cheap, but I think it's changing. I don't know if you've been into a lot of the stores. They're not cheap anymore.
No?
No. No, not at all. No. I mean, we have gowns in here that go for $1,200. 20s beaded gowns.
But you didn't want to wear a gown anyhow. We're talking about clothing for every day. And on that basis, let's talk to some experts.
What's for full fashion? A lot of black and gray colors, mostly. Big shoulder pads, I don't know.
Why black and gray this year?
Why black and gray? It's, I don't know, two colors that mix very well. They stand out.
They don't clash.
Silks and lace and suede and leather.
That's what folks are going to be wearing this year?
Yes.
Lots of leather and spandex and lace and less mini skirts and polka dots.
Blacks, browns, you know, rusts, natural colors, you know? Like, I don't know how to explain, like, and then this, like, spot bleached and spot dyed stuff. It's just going to be real, you know, kind of messy look, but neat.
All of this may be true, but one man had this idea.
The age of significance in clothing and hair is over.
It is?
Yeah, it's all play and fun nowadays. Have a good time.
I guess that's what you're supposed to do with clothing. And I'm John David Klein, Channel 5 News.
Well, around this time of year, when most of us are busy sloshing through the snow, cursing the cruel winter, some New Yorkers are already thinking ahead to spring and summer. They are, of course, the fashion people. Well, what trends are in store? By now, we all know that all kinds of pants, from shorts to culottes to zouave or harem pants, will be very big. But there's another big trend about to sail in as well.
Ahoy there, sailors. The nautical look is back with us in a very big way, making lots of waves for spring and summer, featuring lots of midi blouses, jaunty stripes in snappy red, white, and blue. And the look is adapted not only to sportswear, but to evening pants and dresses as well.
It's probably one of the most important trends of spring and summer, and we really even see it going right on into fall, Judy.
How do you account for it? What do you think it's coming
in?
now?
We think it's a natural extension of really what is a very romantic look. A lot of these are very, almost turn of the century and very, very soft. And we also think it's a very natural extension of the importance of pants and different pant lengths.
And Lord & Taylor is not alone in its enthusiasm. The fashion people over at Bergdorf Goodman also think the look is gobs of fun, so much so they just featured it in their brand new windows.
I think it's going to be one of the big looks for spring, summer '81. And the reason I do is I think it's a play of the spectator look. I think come spring and summer, most people want something navy and white, red and white. It's fresh, it's perky. And I think the nautical look sort of updates it, makes it young, contemporary, very fresh.
Around now, most of us could do with feeling a little young and fresh, but whatever the reason, the sailor look has breezed through 7th Avenue, and you can expect the stores to be awash in it within the next month or two.
All right, when it comes to clubbing in the city, the more outrageous you were, the better, right?
Yeah.
And there was no place better than the Limelight.
I have a great memory at the Limelight.
Okay.
Okay, so you needed an outfit to get in the door, to get the attention of the bouncer.
Right.
So one night we dressed my brother in my mother's tennis outfit.
Did he know about this?
He went for it, we got in the door, but my mother was furious because she just got it and he stretched it out. But it was worth it at the Limelight.
On the map, Wall Street is downtown Manhattan, but around the party circuit, downtown means something else. Say Chelsea and the nightclub called Limelight. You may find it hard to believe, I do. To some people, it's just home. Dave Browdy dropped in last night.
If you've ever waited online outside a Manhattan nightclub trying to convince a doorman to let you in,
Perhaps it's because you don't look like this. At the former church-turned-night spot called Limelight last night, the hardcore of Manhattan's nightlife crowned their king and queen of clubs for the coming 12 months. No, there were no prerequisites for either position. But the MC of the evening's festivities, who's known as Baby, said the competition was fierce and that the winners would, in his words, control the nightlife scene.
This night decides who will be in, who will be out, what to wear, what not to wear, who to talk to, who not to talk to, what club to go to and what club not to go to.
How do you become the king or queen of Manhattan nightlife? There are talent competitions. For this, Dainty Adore O'Hare traveled by Amtrak from California. Or you could answer questions.
If you, Randy, in fact, were elected queen/king, how would you render the drink ticket problem in nightclubs?
I think the first thing we do is tell people not to go to nightclubs and just to come to our house. We live on 9th Street between B and C.
To no one's surprise, when time came to crown the king, Michael Musto, author of a recent book on nightlife, got the crown. The queen calls herself Lady Bunny. The behavior immediately after their selection just would not have done for Westminster Abbey, where a different kind of royal event would begin shortly. The crowd seemed stunned by the display as well as the selection itself, and as people returned to more immediate pursuits, we asked if, as the organizers had said, all men in Manhattan would now want to be like the king.
God help us if they are. But if
God
so,
if they
at least they'll get free drinks.
Are all the women in Manhattan going to be like their queen?
Well, it couldn't hurt.
After a scene like that, the only thing left, a coronation ball, and that's exactly what they had. This may be one of the smallest kingdoms in the world, and monarchy may not last long at all. But for these people, it seems to be enough.
Okay, finally, it's time for the 90s. The streets were filled with puffy jackets, oversized denim, and of course, bucket hats. Remember all that?
I do remember that.
Well, those fashion trends are back, or maybe they never truly left.
And Tahina is 19 years old, and this outfit is by Mecca. I think it's really hot. The color's wonderful. It's reminiscent of the looks of the 70s. Tahina's boots are by Steve Madden, and Steve Madden is really hot on the young urban scene. This is Drew, and Drew is wearing an outfit by Mecca, and Drew is 17 years old. The important detailing to note here is the collegiate influence on urban fashion. And remember, they still like to wear their jeans a little bit on the loose side. We finished off the look with the Headhunter t-shirt, and Drew chose the cap by Elements of Style, right, Drew?
Yes.
And those two pieces, the cap and the t-shirt, are available at Footwork. This is Christina, also known as Christy, and Christy is 13 years old, and Christy's wearing an outfit by Verso. It has that wonderful athletic sportswear influence with the sports stripe on the crop jacket and on the easy, almost track pants. And Christina is wearing this look with her sneakers. She feels really good in it, and she can get a lot of wear with it because she can mix it with other pieces in her wardrobe. This is Damian. This is Verso, the complete outfit. You have, again, a sport influence. The stadium jacket, white stadium jacket. And Damian, you want to take that off so we can see the look underneath? He's wearing the sweat top with a cyber influence in the hologram logo from Verso, and his sweatpants. You can find Verso in department and specialty stores. And now we have Tahina and Jason, and Tahina and Jason are engaged, and they're modeling his and her holiday looks for evening. All the pieces are from 2B, a wonderful urban club scene collection. And if you're looking for something for a more sophisticated urban customer, something a little bit different, a little trendier, more sleeker, more body-conscious looks for both the girl and the guy, 2B is the resource to go to.
In the 90s, the dining scene seemed to center around celebrities, and after all, the famous 8 there, we all wanted to go. Do you remember any of those places?
Of course you do. I mean, they were part of the heartbeat of New York. But then you had celebrity chefs become a thing for the first time, like Nobu.
Right. Those were the days. Take a look.
We love coming to trendy places as New Yorkers. We like to be seen with all the exceptional people, don't we?
I didn't originally come for celebrities, but they're always here.
And here is one of the red-hot hotspots of the moment, Asia de Cuba in Midtown, where celebrity sightings are also on the menu, along with the Asian fusion cuisine.
And Puff Daddy comes in, and Mariah Carey comes in with her posse. It's a very cool scene.
So cool, since its November opening, Asia de Cuba has become one of the toughest reservations in town.
On a Friday night, we're fully reserved for the next 2 months, ma'am.
If I eat out, I eat at Moomba. If I'm going to go out to eat, I want to see the models, the hot little New York scene.
And the 4-month-old Moomba in Greenwich Village is igniting the restaurant scene. Booked weeks in advance, this brand new haven of hipdom has already attracted everyone from models to Madonna, and they like it that way.
For me, it's important because that's my target market. The entertainment, artistic community is my focus. It's what I care about.
But at Jean-Georges on Central Park West, the focus is not on bold-faced names, but on the food, which is exquisite. One of only 6 4-star restaurants in Manhattan, it is booked 1 month to the day. And while dinner with wine for 2 can cost $300, that hasn't stopped people from doing pretty much anything to get in.
They tell us Giorgio Armani, they tell us some stars, and when they show up, they just say to us, you can come. You are sick tonight.
What do you have to do to get a reservation at Nobu?
But do you know Robert De Niro? See, if you know Robert De Niro,
You talking to me? Robert De Niro is one of the partners in Nobu, the still red-hot after 4 years temple of highbrow sushi and innovative Japanese cuisine.
Nobu, can you hold, please?
They've got 3 people working the phones to handle 2,000 calls a day. Reservations are taken 1 month in advance, but people in the know what number to call to get through.
A year into our opening, we did create a private line. So if we get to know you better, I promise you we're going to give you that line too.
And New York Magazine restaurant critic Hal Rubenstein knows firsthand that some people will do anything to get a hard-to-get reservation.
Well, people have offered to give me money to make reservations. I mean, it's so silly that you must be at this one spot at this one time, or that your citizenship in New York your hip citizenship in New York is going to be revoked.
Well, try telling that to the hipsters who still clamor to get into the bistro of the beautiful people, Balthazar in Soho, which after a year is still considered one of the hardest reservations to score in town. It may look empty now. That's because they wouldn't let our cameras in when the restaurant is full. So how do you get into any of these restaurants if a blockbuster movie isn't on your resume?
Start going on a constant basis, even if it's a matter initially of coming at 6 or 6:30. If you have a great time, never fail to tell the maitre d' or the owner. The most effective thing is write a letter.
Robin Carter, Good Day New York.
These days, it might seem like there's a coffee shop on each and every block in the city. Some blocks have them on opposite corners. But back in 1995, that wasn't the case. And franchises like Starbucks were just beginning to expand.
Did you ever try to buy a cup of coffee in the Big Apple? Did you ever try not to? You can't fall down without bouncing off a coffee shop. You ain't seen nothing yet. Here's our Fox Business Report. Coffee bars. They're taking over New York City. Almost every block has at least one, and analysts say more Java joints are on the way. While most people think the Big Apple is overflowing with caffeine, researchers say we're not even close. The Specialty Coffee Association did a study, and they found that New York has the lowest ratio of coffee bar per office worker in the country.
150 stores for the New York metro region, which is 7 million people or so, is about 1 store for every 25,000 people. That's not a lot.
And that's why Starbucks, the coffee king, continues to expand. They're opening up 500 new stores across the country over the next 5 years, about 100 of them in New York. But Starbucks isn't the only player branching out. New World is an upstart competitor, hoping to follow in their footsteps.
We think it's going to develop along the model of large food businesses like pizza, burgers, or chicken, which at the maturity have about 3 to 4 national players that each have about 6,000 to 8,000 stores.
Still, there are skeptics out there who aren't convinced this trend of $2 a cup of coffee is going to last. Chock full of Nuts is diversifying to guard against that possibility.
We are not trying to be a coffee bar. We are trying to be a food and beverage concept with a strong specialty coffee program that keeps up with today's trends.
A trend that for the next 5 years is filled with more espressos, cappuccinos, and lattes.
Those were just some of the trends that took over the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But what will the next few decades bring us?